afternoon. Did you already do the do now? Thank you. So, first of all, welcome to 6th grade. Get used to calling yourself 6th graders. The question is, what is optimism? So I'd like to start by having anyone who has a birthday in July stand up. Now, out of those people, anyone who's willing to share what you or a partner said, what is optimism? Raise your hand if you're willing. Thanks, Erin. What do you guys think optimism is?
I think that it means not saying like I can't do it.
Okay, so the opposite of that, right?
That sounds so weird.
I know, it is funny to hear your voice echoing. Okay, Max?
To make something good out of everything, be happy about most things, and
Very good.
making the best out of everything, and when something bad happens, make a good side.
Okay. Alex, is your birthday in July too? Was your birthday in July, Hector? Okay, you wanted a chance to say something too? What is optimism?
To be happy.
You got it. All right. So audience members, in a minute we're going to be talking about where everybody belongs. And I noticed that while people were talking on the microphone, that there might have been some snickering. What does snickering sound like? Okay. Snickering is kind of laughing a little bit under your breath. So I just want to first applaud the courage of the people who are willing to talk on the microphone. So applause. Second of all, I just want to draw your attention to snickering is usually not the most supportive sound to make when somebody else is taking a risk. So we really want to make sure that we're setting up people to be willing to take risks, because that's how we grow. So, 4 things we're going to do while we're here for 10 minutes. Number 1, remember and commit to the school motto. What is the school motto, everybody?
Work hard, be kind, achieve!
Mr. Funes, you can tell that they practiced that last year because that's the best of anybody in the school. 6th graders rock. Then, we're going to talk a little bit about be the change and how you might use that throughout your school year. We will identify how you can make sure we're a school where everybody belongs, and then review some expectations. Next slide, please. So, yes, our motto is work hard, be kind, achieve. And when we say we work hard, we don't mean just work hard in your academic classes, because we want you to do that, but we also want you to work hard at the social aspect of things, because sometimes that can be hard at school. Being willing to take a risk, being willing to step out and be a friend to somebody when nobody else is, being willing to tell somebody when they're not being kind to you or to somebody else. So work hard means step up, not just in academics, but also on the social side. And be kind, we're going to talk about that when we get to everybody belongs. And then achieve. With those 2 things together, that will give you the success that you're looking for as a student. This quote's by Margaret Mead. You saw this last year when Mr. Funes and Mr. Hassel came and did classes with you. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And we are looking for not only the change you wish to see in the world, but the change you wish to see in our school and the change you wish to see in yourself. And it's not like be the change, like you better change because there's something wrong with you. It's let's change to get even better than we already are. At the beginning of a new school year, everybody has hopes. And so I want you to think about, for example, the optimism tied to your hopes for your school year is a good chance to be that change. When I was in a band class earlier this morning, they were standing in circles talking about their hopes for the year, and there were some kids who said things like, I'm hopeful and excited about outdoor ed. I'm hopeful that I learned some new things in math. And then there were other kids who said things like, I'm looking forward to the last day of school. I'm like, well, yes, we might all look forward to the last day of school because summer is freedom. But if you're focused on that your whole school year, how much are you going to learn? Not a lot. So it's our job as a collective group to keep each other positive and keep each other willing to try new things. The last one is where everybody belongs. So Mr. Funes is wearing a special shirt today. That was from the Web Leaders. And that WEB stands for Where Everybody Belongs. And this year we did Work Hard, Be Kind, Achieve. This year we did something different for the 5th graders. So the 8th grade students met the 5th graders before school started and helped them feel comfortable. And that is so that we can create this feeling of where everybody belongs. So I'm going to ask you right now, as 6th graders, as an individual human being, what can you do to make sure that everybody in our school feels like they belong? I want you to turn and talk to somebody, make sure both people talk, and listen for the bell when I'm asking you to come back. What can you do to make sure everybody belongs or feels like they belong? If you have a birthday in December, stand up. Okay. If you have a birthday in December and you're willing to share what you could do to make sure everybody belongs, raise your hand. Okay, Ruth. What are you or your partner willing to do to make sure everybody belongs?
Be kind.
What does that look like for sound?
Like, I can help you go around the school to know where stuff are.
Awesome. So, touring people. Who else? Alex, your one? Okay. Your best listeners right now. Say courage.
So if I want everybody to belong, I would make them feel welcome and not unwelcome, because making them feel unwelcome would make them not feel like they belong.
What are some things you would do that would make somebody feel welcome?
Well, to be more kind and make them feel really well and happy about where they are right now.
What would you say?
I would say, like, welcome, you do belong here.
Okay, great, awesome. You want to add anything, guys? No? Yes? You're willing? No. You're not? Okay. So, this is your personal responsibility now to do the things you just heard them say, to try to make sure that people do feel included and belongs, feel like they belong. So the next slide, I want to review with you some of our expectations at school. Some are new and some are old. The dress code is a little bit different this year than it has been in the past. We took feedback from teachers, students, and parents, and the 2 rules are still the same. Number 1, no showing anything on your clothing that has to do with drugs, alcohol, or bad words. So if you happen to have something that's a reference to that, we'll ask you to turn your shirt inside out. And you might not even realize that it might be a reference, and we're just gonna say, uh-oh, that's not meeting our school expectation, can you turn it inside out? The other one is you have to make sure that all of your private body parts are covered. So instead of the rule about the shorts having to come to your finger length, you just have to make sure that your bottom is completely covered and all your private parts. So see how important your voice is? We went through a process and we figured that out. So we do want to hear your voice and your opinions, and sometimes we can adjust things based on that. So spaghetti straps are okay. If you're buying new shorts, try to make sure they're at least a 4-inch inseam. They usually have labels on the racks that help you decide which ones to buy, because that's just helpful to make sure that you really are covering your whole body. Your private parts. So, cell phones, hats, and gum, nothing has changed there. Cell phones from 8 a.m. to 3:20 p.m. Phones need to be off. They can be on you but not in your hand, and they can't ring or buzz, okay? So as soon as you leave the foyer in the morning, you need to have them put away. Same with hats. As soon as you're leaving the foyer in the morning, before you walk down the academic hallway, you take your hat off. And you may have your hats at lunch, but only in the cafeteria or outside. So don't put them on until you get in the cafeteria. You may not have cell phones at lunch. Gum, not at all. From the second you walk in the door to the second you leave, you shouldn't have gum. We are adding in a new detention this year that's after school on Fridays from 3:15 to 3:45. So if you consistently break any of these rules, then you'll be assigned to some community service on a Friday after school. Bullying, harassment, and conflict. So the difference between bullying and conflict. Conflict is where two people have an interaction and both people have some ownership over it. So if I walked up to Jenny and pushed her and she pushed me back, that's a conflict. We're both involved in something, we both made a choice, and we can each take ownership of our choice. Sometimes other kids are involved, but it's usually not, conflict is usually not a bunch of people. Bullying, on the other hand, there's a difference in power, and sometimes it's one person, and sometimes it's a group of people, and that person or group tries to make themselves more powerful than the person that they're hurting, and both people don't have a part in it. It's just one victim and one or more people that are causing the problem. It also can be repeated, something that happens over and over and over. That's called bullying. And I want to make sure that you all know that it's your responsibility to be an upstander in that case and to say, I don't like how you're treating that person right now. Can you tell they're not feeling very good? And not just say something to them, but report it to an adult staff member. We've all had some extra training this year on what that bullying looks like. And so we have some interventions that we're going to be doing in cases where that's reported. And it's also recorded on the school record every time there's a report. No matter who reports what's happening, on the student's record it says incident of bullying. So please be careful with the words that you choose to use, the actions, the looks. It all makes a difference and has an impact, and it's not acceptable. The other thing you need to know is about harassment. Harassment is a kind of bullying that is illegal. There's laws against it, and so both the school and the student can get in some pretty severe trouble for harassment. And that has to do more with if the thing that you're doing is about a whole group of people, like by their race, gender, sexuality, religion, and if you say something about a person that could impact a whole group of people, then that's harassment and you could be involved with the law. Specifically, the thing that I've heard most in middle school, that's just kind of a phrase that people use, but it is actually harassment, is gay. You're so gay, that's so gay. So we want to make sure that you understand we're not using that word, and if you hear other kids use it, you might need to help them break that habit. Like, remember, we're not using that word. That offends a whole group of people, and it's harassment, okay? Next. So, one more thing that I want to mention, kind of goes back to the where everybody belongs, is we had a fire in our community. It had a major impact on a lot of people's lives. Some people were affected more than others. And when you go through, can you keep your hands to yourself, please? Thanks. When you go through something traumatic like that, whether it be just because it was scary or whether your family actually was impacted by it, it causes you to have a little bit harder time. Maybe harder time concentrating, maybe a little bit harder time being kind if you feel like extra stressed. And so I want you to be thinking about that in your interactions with others, how to support our friends in our community through something that might have been hard. When you see somebody who maybe isn't being very nice, you can say, how you doing? Are you okay? And kind of dig into what's going on, because sometimes it reaches past just the moment when it happens and it takes a long time to heal. So my question for you is, how will you grow this year? Our hope for you is to make some mistakes. I know that's hard. I have some new scrapes on my knee from my bike ride this weekend. I'm getting a little bit better at mountain biking, but still super hard for me. I have to work really hard. And I let fear freak me out, and I fell. But I'm going to get back on that trail next weekend, and now I have a new strategy that I already knew, but I wasn't using it, because I know that I do better when I stay focused and go fast, Instead of slowing down, it makes me crash. So I'm gonna try that. So my hope for you is that you will make some mistakes, that you'll get back up and go, okay, what can I do better next time? And that you'll ask for the help that you need when you're stuck. Liam? I wish I rode with him more. My son is a coach, and if I rode with him more, I would probably get better, but I haven't ridden with him for a while. So my final message is what you already know. Work hard, be kind, and achieve. And I'm really proud of you guys. I think you have the potential to be real leaders in our school. And I look forward to seeing you continue to grow and to be courageous, to try new things and take some risks. Choose courage rather than comfort, and choose courage and the right thing rather than what's easy. Okay? All right, so because you're being such attentive listeners, the other groups I didn't make time for them. It's not a chance.
You guys want to stand up? Alright, so, get you guys going and rolling. Some of you are like, oh man, I'm falling asleep or something like that. So, now, can everyone hear me? Yeah. Right? So, get your right hand out like this. I need your right hand, not your left, because if you do this, you might punch each other. Alright, so everyone, right hand out. Okay? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Ready? We're going to do, just to show, we're going to do right hand, we're going to do left hand, then we're going to do right, left, and we're going to do, can you guys look into the bottom and say, huh!
Flowing to your brain again. Let's go use that in your Core 7 classes. So